wondering how I would become a Jedi Knight.
I suppose by going out for a part in the movie. What is a Jedi Knight to you?
Well,
what's your definition of that term?
A selfless individual who can feel the life force of other people and beings around it, I guess, of anything, and can
When you say selfless, what do you mean?
They do good for others. They do things for the benefit of others without doing it for themselves.
But you understand that when you do things for the benefit of others, that is actually the best way to benefit yourself.
Yes, I understand that.
So you are not selfless.
So I'm very selfish then.
And you're not selfish. You can, however, simply become self-contained.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you understand you are connected to everything, and when you understand and behave that way, you will know you are included because you are a part of everything and cannot be left out. Therefore, you don't have to focus on yourself. So if that's what you mean by selfless, then fine. But it doesn't mean you're actually selfless. It simply means you're not self-focused.
Gotcha.
You're focused on the big picture of which you are a part. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
All right. Then is that being closer to being a Jedi Knight?
Yeah, but there's other parts too.
Oh, all right. And what are they?
I guess being able to...
I'm not going to tell you how to build a lightsaber.
I don't need to learn how to do that. That's irrelevant for me.
All right. Just checking.
How would I do the supernatural things that they do?
Supernatural?
Well, the things that society would deem supernatural that I...
Oh, you mean the things that they do that come naturally to them when they operate on a higher frequency?
Sure.
Well, operate on a higher frequency.
And how do I do that?
I already told you.
Follow my highest passion.
Yes.
Well, there we go. Cool.
Behave in the manner that you wish your reality to reflect.
Cool.
Whatever temperature you want.
Another question I have is, in my comparative religion class in school, the Hare Krishnas came into our class, and they worship Krishna as, God.
Yes.
Was that person like the physical manifestation of all that is? Or was it just...
Every person is a physical manifestation of all that is. Nevertheless, some will, in a sense, as we were just speaking of, exhibit more of those qualities more openly. Thus, then, they often become, in a sense, well, focal points for that idea. However, because of the kind of belief systems that many humans have been taught on your planet, they often then, instead of actually getting the point,
they worship the person.
They worship the person. Because the point of any of those advanced teachers is that you are Krishnas too. You are Buddhas too. You are Christs too. And they all say as much, but most people ignore that part of the message. And just worship and proselytize instead of actually behaving as if. You follow?
Yeah.
Does that help?
That does help. Another question I have is...
You follow?
Yeah.
Does that help?
That does help. Another question I have is... a monk came to our class too, a Buddhist monk, and he said Nirvana was different than enlightenment, and that the Buddha achieved Nirvana, which is he ended all suffering forever. His being. Is that...
Again, the idea is that you have been given many examples of how to create certain states of being for yourself in which you do not have to experience the idea of challenge as suffering. Whether you allow yourself to begin to behave that way and take on that state of being is completely up to you. But you have been demonstrated this many, many times by many teachers. So in that sense, that's the way to understand the statement. They've done this for you. So you don't have to do it again. But you can choose to do it again. You can choose to suffer. But because they've already demonstrated how you don't have to, you don't have to.
Cool. Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, all right. You like that temperature, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Thank you.
Wait, one last one. One more question. Okay. So you've talked before that we're moving through time and space.
Well, in a sense, that's your experience.
And however fast you can, let's say you're moving 50% through like space, like 50% the speed of light.
Yes.
That means your time is 50%
And
slowing,
space
right?
is 50%.
But the speed of light is a speed limit. It's
a speed limit of your particular dimensional reality.
But
it's the border between your dimension and another one.
But I can imagine a speed higher than that.
And
so,
there is.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
It's just that within your dimension, that's the upper limit of your physical reality. It doesn't mean there aren't faster speeds in other realities, in other dimensions.
Can I change it in my reality? Or is that...
You have to shift to that other dimensional reality in order to experience that, because it doesn't, in a sense, have relevance in your physical reality.
Okay.
Instantaneous teleportation has been experienced by many individuals, even on your planet. That's shifting to another dimension where this so-called concept of speed has no meaning. You simply are here, then you are there. No traveling in between.
That's awesome.
So it can be called infinite speed. Make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Another question from a News for the Soul listener.
Oh, all right.
You said we make good TV.
Yes.
How do you see us?
Like this. Sometimes like this. Sometimes like this. Can you be more specific about what you mean by that question?
Yeah, I guess the question is, how do beings that are outside our planet see us? And
well, we have
see
different
our
ways
behaviors?
depending upon the being. Right now, we are simply perceiving your energy patterns. We are seeing you in a holographic kind of format that allows us to connect into what we need to connect into of your collective consciousness in order to download information to you that you have requested. So we're not so much seeing you just physically, per se. We're not really seeing you, in a sense, physically at all. We are seeing you vibrationally as a series of patterns that are interpreted in our consciousness in a variety of holographic conceptual ways, depending upon what is being communicated.
Are there beings that have, like on their spaceships, screens where they can see what's going on the planet?
Yes.
So how are they doing that?
Well, again, there are a variety of technologies depending upon the civilization. One civilization that does that has the ability to understand, well, let me back up. We have to some degree explained to you how our spacecraft work, in the sense that it is all about vibrational resonance location. The idea that every location has a vibrational signature, and that an object doesn't exist in a location. An object, in a sense, contains a vibrational locational signature that makes it seem to occupy space in a particular place and time. But the location is one of the variables of the object's equation, energy equation. As we change the variable in our spaceships, the spaceship changes location, because that is simply the idea of the spaceship existing at the new vibrational locational signature point. Similarly, the technology is that when you know that location is a particular frequency, then you can create a system where you dial up a particular locational resonance, and you can have a mechanism that simply translates that particular reference point visually, if you wish, even in your mind or on a screen. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what we are describing as a technology?
Yes, it sounds very interesting. I mean, are people being watched while they're walking around in the privacy of their homes?
Sometimes.
That's pretty interesting.
But never without permission. You understand?
Yes, but how does somebody give permission?
Sometimes they give permission on another level.
Oh, like a dream state.
The physical mind may not be aware of the permission that has been given, but the permission has been given. And again, it will always be done, at least on our behalf, relatively unobtrusively. Privacy will be maintained where it is truly desired.
So what would be the purpose of watching someone?
Learning.
Like how humans do things?
Yes. And there are other reasons. Observing what humans are, in a sense, absorbing of the information that they have learned, how they are applying it. Because sometimes we have recognized that humans will apply information differently in private than they do in public. So we learn a lot about you in private that we don't get a chance to learn by watching you in public. And that's why we say you make good TV. Because there are often great dichotomies between your private persona and your public one. And we learn a lot about who you really are and what your personality really is all about by observing the private one in certain contexts.
Yeah, I can see that. That's really true. So
Yes.
That's cool that you guys can do that.
Again, not without permission and not without there being a reason, in a sense, that will ultimately serve you in a positive way.
Right. That's
We have
wonderful.
no purpose or reason to simply be invasive.
Yeah.
It
no.
is only being done because there is a mutual agreement that what we are doing will benefit you in some way, shape, or form.
That's wonderful, Bashar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
How do I experience past and future and now?
Have you ever had the experience called deja vu?
Theoretically, but not consciously, that I can recall.
You have never
maybe I did,
experienced
maybe
that
I didn't.
sensation.
I
Is
know
that
what
what
you're
you're saying?
talking about, but I can't really recall the real experience.
Oh, all right. But that is one representation of experiencing what you call past and future in the present. That's what that experience actually is. Because when you have deja vu, you know what is about to happen because you feel it has happened before. You are experiencing the idea of the timelessness all at once, that everything exists at once. So really, the more you live in the moment, the more you live in the present, the more you don't focus on the idea in a negative way of future and past, the more you will experience the timelessness of actual existence. The more malleable, plastic, and slippery space and time will become. The more synchronistic experiences you will have. Synchronicity is another symptomology of collapsing the idea of space-time into the now. Because everything is one. Everything is connected to everything else. Synchronicity is space-time's way of showing you that everything else. Synchronicity is space-time's way of showing you that everything is connected as best as it possibly can. Even though it may still be presenting it to you in a so-called linear fashion, one synchronicity after another, that is at least a more collapsed version of experiencing space-time, the experience of synchronicity itself, than a typical stretched out linear format. Does that make sense?
But is this includes, for example, past lives, past experience?
Again, remember, there is no real past. There is no real future. Everything exists now. The analogy we often use is your own television set. If you are sitting down watching a TV program, you know that at the same moment, there are still hundreds of other programs that exist at the same time. They're not really in the past. They're not really in the future. You may not be perceiving them because you are tuned to one particular channel. But if you change the channel, you'll see that another program exists at the same time as the program you were just watching. Reality is like that. All the lives, all the experiences are going on right now. The more you understand and wrap your mind around that concept, the more you will actually start to experience reality that way. Make sense?
Yes.
So, more analogies, the more symbols, the more analogies you can create to explain the idea of the simultaneity of existence to yourself, the more you can understand that construct of nowness holographically, the more you will actually start to experience your reality that way.
Makes sense. Thank you. And,
Thank you. That's why we also use the analogy of saying there really is only one moment in creation, just one moment. What appears to you to be different moments is actually the same moment, but from a different point of view. It's all the same moment. There is also only one thing in creation. All of it. Just one thing. Experiencing itself as a multitude of things. But it's just one thing. Even physically, there is only one thing. We have explained this before by the concept we refer to in our reality as the prime radiant. Imagine. We know your scientists tend to talk in particles, subatomic particles. Now, we know that it's not really a solid particle, but for the purpose of illustration, it will do. Imagine this. Imagine there is only one particle in all of existence, and there's nothing else. Just one particle. Because there is nothing else to relate to, the particle has no mass and can move at infinite speed. It has no limitations, it has no barriers, there are no laws to govern it, because it's the only thing there is. So it can do anything it wants. So if it can travel, this one particle can travel at infinite speed, that's another way of saying that that particle can actually be everywhere at the same time. You understand?
Yes.
So if a particle can be everywhere at the same time, it can appear to be multiple particles, but it's actually the same one particle. And everything that is made up of particles is actually made up of the same one particle, moving at infinite speed. So you actually are the other person's body. You actually are the chair. You actually are the light bulb. Because all those things, you are the star. You are the other planet. Because all those things are all made up out of the same one particle that everything is made up out of. So everything is here. Everything is now. Everything is one. Make sense?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. The more you ponder that, the more you wrap your mind around that, the more you will start to experience that in your reality. Yes, continue.
And it's pretty much like a follow-up in terms
Yes.
of everything is one, all is one, we're part of one.
Yes, yes.
But we have this illusion of separation.
Yes.
Can you help me a little bit in terms of how I can modify it or remove it if it's appropriate, or how
Well,
I
you
can
don't
better
really want to
understand it,
completely remove it per se.
but have ability to
Or you won't
go
really
beyond
have an experience as an individual. Remember, all that is experiences itself in all the ways that it can. You, us, all beings and all things in creation are all the ways all that is has of experiencing itself. Even though you can have the experience of more oneness, you exist as an idea unto itself. So you, as that idea, no matter how much oneness you create yourself to experience, you will always experience yourself as you. Even when you become one with the one, you will experience yourself as the one. So you will still be you. Even when you are no longer a part of the one in experience, you will still experience yourself as the one. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Does that help?
But I was asking more in terms of practical application, in terms of, for example, feeling the trees and walls and go beyond that.
Yes.
How I can develop this?
Again, wrap your mind around the idea that you are one. Invent in your imagination ways in which to represent that to yourself more realistically. And use that imagination. That's what your imagination is for. Your imagination is keyed to you, to your frequency. Whatever methodology you come up with that allows you to feel more at one, use that. Use what your imagination comes up with. Your imagination is the conduit between your higher mind and your physical mind. Your imagination is the conduit of communication between the two. So let us say, for example, if you imagine, for you, if it feels right for you, that you can walk up to a wall, and if by putting your hands on it, that allows you to feel more at one with the wall, or if putting your tongue on it allows you to feel more at one with the wall, or simply imagining yourself passing through the wall and your molecules intermingling makes you feel more at one with the wall, or whatever idea your imagination comes up with that actually creates for you more of the sensation, more of the idea of being one with the wall, then that's the thing to imagine at that moment, whether you actually physically do it or not. Because the idea is that some of these things are not always relevant to experience literally physically. Some of them are just things that lure you in a certain direction to get you to move in that direction, perhaps for other reasons. Sometimes the things that excite you just to get you to move in a certain direction, not because the thing itself must come to fruition in a physical way. Because your higher mind knows how stubborn the physical mind can be. So it will sometimes allow certain things to come to fruition when they are appropriate to do so. Other times, the thing that excites you will simply be a carrot to get you to move in that direction because that was the most important thing for you to do. So if you're excited about exploring this concept of oneness, act on that and use your imagination to explore it in whatever way, shape, or form your imagination feels most excited about doing so. And for that moment, that will be the right way for you. And it will enhance the synchronicity in your reality. For that moment, that will be the right way for you. And it will enhance the synchronicity in your reality to give you more experiences of that oneness in whatever way works best for you. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Thank you
So
very
you really
much.
need to let your imagination fly. You really need to act out on your imagination too in many ways. Many times we have suggested to many of you, when you talk about doing the thing that excites you, to mock it up, to create a facsimile of the reality you say you wish to live in. Literally build it up around you to the best of your ability. Have representations of it everywhere that you can. Paste it up on your wall. But very few of you actually take the step of making that physical realization, that physical symbology. You keep it very mental. Acting it out acts as the completion circuit. It grounds the idea and lets your physical mind know that it actually has something physical to respond to as a vibration that is more representative of that reality you say you prefer. It's training your physical body to respond to that physical reality by mocking it up and existing in that simulated environment. It doesn't matter that it's a simulation if it makes you feel like it's real. Make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
And last question.
Oh.
I want to understand how the new point of consciousness got born, or new consciousness got born. Probably it's more like a point.
Essentially this way. The so-called new point of consciousness is simply the awakening to the level of consciousness that you actually are naturally. The idea is that when you all chose to experience the idea of physical reality on Earth, you understood to some degree that you were going to go through a cycle of forgetfulness and limitation experience. But you are now at the end of that cycle. So you are remembering who you are. You're waking up and remembering who you are as spirits. That's what caused the idea of the spiritual awakening. You have almost completely finished with your cycle of forgetfulness. So it's just the end of a natural cycle and the beginning of a new one of remembering more of who you are and the expansion that simply naturally comes with remembering your true identity. Make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, April. Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you.
It is an honor for us to communicate with all of you as well.
Good, thank you.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
I shall speak up then.
Thank you.
By our thoughts, our choices, and our imaginings, as you said, we create our reality.
Through your beliefs and definitions, You create your reality. Your beliefs and definitions determine what kind of feelings and thoughts and behaviors you exhibit.
Right.
That then reinforce the reality you have created with your belief. But belief is the blueprint. It's the first step. The definition is the key, not just the thought. I know that some people on your planet interchange those concepts and say thoughts create your reality. What they really mean is the basic fundamental belief creates the reality. What you believe is true is what you experience. Then your thoughts will go hand in hand to reinforce that.
Good, yes, excellent. And so it's a very individual process, is it not?
Yes, but there are collective components to it that you have all agreed to abide by in general.
Which are prior agreements as to the structure of the earth and life,
yes,
and so on. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good, yes. So if I create my reality and it is an individual thing within those agreements, within those prior agreements.
Yes.
I'm confused about the way in which sometimes you talk about the world that is, as if there's a world out there that we are all sharing.
Yes.
And all seem to be within this same world.
Well, in a sense. We understand that sometimes the limitation of the translation of our thoughts into the human language may leave something to be desired and cause some confusion with regard to the definition of terminology. Nevertheless, there is a collective level to the agreement, and there is an individual level to the agreement, in whatever way you choose to experience it, in whatever kind of world experience you choose to believe you're having, which is also created by individual and collective agreement. Does that make more sense?
Can you give us some more?
The idea, again, is that when we say the world out there, we are simply referring to the idea of the illusion of physical reality.
Yes.
We know there really isn't a world out there.
Yes.
It's all happening within your consciousness.
Yes.
But when we use that term, we are more often than not referring simply to the idea of the experiential reflection, the mirror of physical reality that seems to be outside you.
Okay.
We simply don't always take the time to explain it in every single detail, assuming that you basically understand the analogy we are making without having to explain every aspect of it. But sometimes it requires a deeper explanation, depending upon the conversation. But fundamentally, we understand that it all takes place within consciousness, that there really is no outside. There really is no out there. But the experience of it is real, even though the thing itself is not. Does that make sense?
Yes. So if I believe that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, then I inhabit a world that is going to hell in a handbasket.
Then you're in the basket with it, yes.
Yes. And if I believe that the world is not going to hell in a handbasket, I live in a world that is thriving and prosperous.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, you have for many thousands of years, in your terms of counting time, in that experience, linearly speaking, agreed to have coexisting varieties of belief systems. Now that you are waking up, more and more, every day, bit by bit, you will start by selective vibrational resonance choices, slowly start to see, bit by bit, only the worlds that are more representative, only experience the realities that are more representative with the vibration of your overall natural choosing, rather than experiencing so many vibrations that are not representative of it. But for a while, and for a long time, in your terms of time, you have been willing to experience many vibrational reality ideas that are not necessarily aligned with your preference. And that will continue for a little while, until such time as you all really hone in on the frequencies of your preference and really start shifting yourselves to realities that are more and more representative and reflective of the vibration of your preference, and less representative and reflective of vibrations that are not. Make sense?
Yes.
And?
when you use the term "you are waking up,"
Yes.
it sounds like you're talking to all of us collectively here.
Well, generally speaking, because if that were not the case, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Okay. But there's a version of me that probably didn't even make this meeting tonight, right?
Correct. In some reality, you are not here.
Exactly. And so there's...
But that's not really you, in that sense. That's him.
I understand. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing.
Yes.
One last thing.
Yes.
If I create my reality,
Yes.
then I am creating you.
Yes,
Correct?
you are creating your version of me in order to experience me in your reality by collective agreement.
Yes.
I am not actually in your reality. Your version of me is.
Yes.
Just as I am creating my version of you.
Yes.
So in essence, we are both talking to ourselves.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar, one of our listeners has this question that kind of fits in with what you're talking about right now.
Oh, all right. How synchronous of them.
Right. And you'll probably say you've already answered this.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
To what extent am I making up my reality? Sometimes I feel like I'm making it all up and I'm the only one who is really here.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes. But remember, it's not this or that, it's this and that. You are making it all up, and you are doing it in concert with others who are also making it all up. That's the paradox. Each individual completely, utterly, totally makes up their entire reality, and at the same time are doing it in concert with other individual aspects of all that is that are also entirely and absolutely making up their own reality. At the same time, they're doing it in concert with each other. It's this and that, not this or that. Creation is inclusive, not exclusive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's amazing, that it works like that.
Yes.
So we're pretty much out of questioners now. Is there anybody left that was supposed to ask a question?
That was a question.
What's your preference, Bashar?
That person may ask a question if they have one.
All right, but you must come down here and sit in the chair.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you. Good day.
And good evening.
Oh, all right. Good evening.
Would you say a little more about following your excitement in reference to the struggles we often experience with trying to act in our best understanding with what we perceive?
Sounds like you're struggling with the sentence.
Yeah, well, yeah. When there's a struggle between
Yes.
acting on what we believe is our duty, which
duty.
is not necessarily that exciting,
Can you define duty?
For example,
Yes.
well, something that I'm struggling with right now is a very sick parent who is
Yes.
requiring an enormous amount of time, energy, and attention.
Oh, all right.
And it's very difficult for me under these circumstances to be acting on my excitement.
Why?
Because most of my time, attention, and energy are taken up by responding to her needs.
So, why are you making an association between one situation and another?
How can you not?
Good question. You can not. All it takes is a little inventiveness and imagination and trust that where you are choosing to be is where you need to be if you're choosing to be there. Let's explore this. I'm going to give you an example we have used before. But perhaps you can understand in this example how a variation of this idea can be applied in your situation and your circumstance. All right? All right?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Want to make sure you're still awake. All right. Many people on your planet have been given belief systems that say, this cannot be something that gives me joy. This cannot be done as a living. This will not work. This makes this impossible. And all sorts of other belief system limitations that become self-fulfilling prophecies, self-reinforcing realities, experiences. People on your planet who have a different way of looking at things, who have different belief systems about what is and isn't possible, don't experience those limitations. Their reality reinforces for them the understanding that they can do this and do that. Like I said, it's not this or that, it's this and that. But it is often a limitation of imagination, a limitation of definition that allows an individual to believe that certain things cannot happen if they don't happen in a certain specific way. And it is relaxing the definition about how you think something must happen, how it needs to happen, how it can happen, relaxing those definitions that will allow you to actually experience how it will happen, but maybe not in the way you expected, maybe not in the way you were taught to believe it has to happen. You need to really stretch your definitions to include other ways, unexpected ways, creative ways in which you can act on your joy, while at the same time expressing your love for your parent. Do you follow?
Yes.
Now, before we continue, understand that this also extends to the idea of taking care of your parent. If you are willing to expand your definitions about what is possible in your reality instead of coming from a very limited point of view about how things must be done, as you say, duty, the idea is that even the caretaking of your parent could be being done in a very different way that's far more representative of your joy and your excitement. The idea is that you can attract to yourself the things, the people, the places, the things that can aid and assist you in that undertaking that are still representative of your love, of your caretaking, but you don't necessarily have to do it all yourself, and you don't have to assume that you need X, Y, and Z, or that can't happen. You need to relax your definition of abundance, because abundance is just the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's it. That's it. That's the definition of abundance. And if you think you don't have what you need to do what you need to do, then it is simply your definition of abundance that is limited, that is allowing you to experience the limitation in your life. The example of a woman whose great joy was to simply tell stories to her children illustrates the point. That was the most exciting thing she could think of to do. And she did it with absolute flair. It was her joy. So she put everything into it and told astonishing, vivid, imaginative, creative stories to her children. So much so that they began inviting their friends over to listen to these stories, and they became enraptured by these stories, captured by these stories, caught up in these stories. So much so that they started inviting their parents over to listen to these stories, and they became caught up in these beautiful tales that she would weave. So much so that they began to give her money just to tell them stories, to invite her to different houses just to tell her stories. And before you know it, she was making a living just telling stories because that's what she loved to do. And her reality supported her. In that simple thing, she became capable of being completely and utterly and totally supported in her life. Whereas, if she had had the belief system that said, well, yes, I have time to tell stories, but how's that going to help me? How's that going to support me? How is that going to do anything when I'm stuck at home? If that's the way she had thought, she would not have had the ability to do any of that. But she didn't think that way. She didn't believe that way. She didn't even give it a second thought. She just did what was exciting to her, where and when she could. She acted on her excitement to the best of her ability and simply allowed the excitement to bring the synchronicity, to bring the support, to bring the abundance, to bring everything she needed to her. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can too. Why? Because you exist. And you have all the same attributes and all the same qualities that she does. Yes?
This is very helpful. Thank you.
Our unconditional love to you. Sweet dreams.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will extend at this timing to each and every one of you our deepest appreciation for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission. We will continue with part 2, brick walls and beliefs, and the thorough X-ray examination of the structure of beliefs in what you call tomorrow of your time, which shall be a moment for me. We wish you all an exciting and creative and imaginative good day.
My name is Alexander. Pleasure to meet you. I've had this weird experience that I now have been learning from one of my guides and teachers, that they believe that I met my past incarnation in this life, and it caused me to experience a massive expansion in consciousness as a result. And now I look back at my life, I look back at experiences, and like, I don't remember them the same anymore. And because when I bounce them off people, like family members, they're telling me a different experience that I remember, and it's making me feel like I'm going crazy. But my question is, I've been having these high rises of consciousness where I'm super present, super aware, super there, and then it just drifts away, and then I become like unconscious again. And I wonder how your species, how your kind has dealt with this while they've been like let's say you're born, as a different species, another race, wherever, and your kind is more evolved than our kind. So how would you guys have been teaching your younger species how to deal with the waves of coming and going of presence? I'd really like a tool for that, if that's okay.
Well, first of all, the idea is that you're opening up to being able to experience the concept of parallel realities more concretely, because past isn't really past, it's just another parallel reality that exists simultaneously with what you consider your present focus to be. So the idea is that you're opening up to being able to experience parallel realities. You'll get used to it. Don't worry about it. Move forward in your life by following the formula. Synchronicity will start arranging things in a way that will make sense in terms of what it is you're tapping into in a parallel reality, and how you can use the information that you're tapping into to download it in a way you can apply it in your present life, in your present focus, in a way that benefits you. But you have to be okay with understanding that as you expand your consciousness, you're going to suddenly be aware of all sorts of parallel realities that you're connecting to, because you are a greater being that covers more than one reality. So it's just part of the symptoms of expanding your consciousness in this day and age. Allow yourself to follow the formula, to allow synchronicity to organize this in a way that you can use it in a practical sense in your physical incarnational experience.
Good day, Bashar. Very excited to meet with you. I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well. What would you like to discuss?
Well, there are several things, obviously. First of all, you and I seem to have a similar sense of humor, and I have wondered what role a sense of humor has in the achieving and maintaining a higher vibrational state.
Well, humor is a higher vibrational state, because humor fundamentally is an ability to form unexpected associations, unexpected connections to things that people might not ordinarily make connections to. So it is an expansion of your ability to holographically see how things are more connected and to express those connections in what might be considered an unusual way that opens people up to different perspectives.
Very good. I just know that you and I are very similar in that sense. I almost feel like we have met sometime in the past or have existed.
Well, you do have connections to our general frequency, and therefore it feels familiar to you. Yes.
Yes. Yes. All right. Secondly,
yes.
One of my higher flow states that I achieve has been in sports, in participating in sports.
All right.
Do the Essassani have anything equivalent to that?
Well, yes, we have games, and you might call them sports, but it's not in competition with each other. It's in competition with ourselves.
Okay, well, yes, that's pretty much my attitude. I do like to, quote, to win or be victorious, but at the same time, I'm more concerned about how well I perform to a level that I think I should be.
Yes, and in that context, everything that we experience is a win. There is no winning and losing in our society. There is, what did you learn in that experience? And if you learned something and you grew, that's a win. So even though there may be collective involvement, we're all there synchronistically to allow each other to experience our own individual wins, our individual growth in how we experience that particular exercise.
Okay. Delving into extraterrestrial races, if that's okay.
Yes.
Are there any that are actually genetically equivalent to humans on Earth?
Well, very much closely genetically connected, like the Pleiadians, who are in a sense your distant cousins. Right. So like that, yes, there are genetic connections between humans on Earth and different species. But after a point, it becomes very, very different, and many alien societies look nothing like you. But there are several that do, primarily not only just because of the morphogenetic fields that say this is a efficient form, so they look humanoid or human-like, even though they may not necessarily be directly genetically connected to you in the way that you think, but there are some that are actually truly genetically family.
Right. Okay. So they
such as us.
Have they populated the Earth at some point?
There have been times in the past where other societies have taken advantage of the Earth environment for a period of time. Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's part of the history that you don't know.
Right. Okay. And that will be revealed at some point?
Eventually, yes, after open contact.
Okay. Something I wonder about you specifically, how much do these sessions deplete you, or do they deplete you in any way?
No, of course not. Why would they deplete me? Why would I do it if they did?
Well, as a first contact specialist, that being your desired role,
yes,
that doesn't necessarily mean it wouldn't necessarily have some impact on you per se, I guess.
Well, the impact it has is that it energizes us.
Okay.
It is what we love to do. And therefore, we are operating at a very high frequency, and at a high frequency, we are energized. It never depletes us because we are simply being a conduit for a higher frequency, passing through us, leaving us with energy. It doesn't take energy away from us. It supports us with a higher frequency energy.
Yes, I know. Well, I'm feeling energized just in this little discussion. So I can imagine, I guess, that it has quite an impact on you in that case.
Yes.
I think that's going to be it.
All right.
I definitely appreciate your time and your dedication.
Again, the dedication is automatic when you are focused on what you love to do. So, we thank you. Aveo.
Aveo.
Good day.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar, Alicia here. I wanted to speak about an experience I had maybe 6 years ago relative to our time. And the experience is with Source itself, all that is. And I would describe it as very similar to the sun, but a white ball of energy. And I could imagine, I can still feel it almost being hit with, just fire. I felt like I was being burnt, but I knew it was unconditional love and acceptance. And I remember floating and, just telepathically speaking with Source. And not too long after that, I ended up just shutting the door, shutting off all from metaphysics, quantum mechanics, spirituality, and I just closed it off. And I want to understand why Source decided that would be the opportune moment for me to experience itself. And why, knowing that after experiencing, I would shut it off and completely close that door. And I want to understand what my purpose is, because I still am wanting to understand. And I feel like there's a block that is preventing me from doing so after already knowing and being exposed to a multitude of truths and itself.
Well, you were shown what you actually are, that you are Source, you come from Source. You are given the vibration to reach for through the challenges in your life. So you shut down the direct connection so that you could climb the ladder by going through and facing the challenges that would ultimately bring you back to being able to connect to that frequency again. But you were given the opportunity to know exactly what that frequency feels like, so that you have something to aim for and understand that that's where the challenges that you choose to transform in positive ways will ultimately take you if you keep transforming those challenges. Good day.
Thank you so much for this interaction, Bashar.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
So you've described both the physical body and the personality structure as being the prism through which our pure consciousness is filtered in order to create our physical reality experience.
Yes.
I was wondering, what is the difference then between the personality structure and the physical body?
Well, the personality structure is what determines what the physical body is going to be in terms of how it arranges its DNA components when it is laid out on the blueprint level. Does that make sense? Do you understand?
So the personality structure, the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions do that?
Yes, it's all woven into the structure of the genetics that will reinforce the belief system that is germane for that personality structure to have in order to face the challenges that the soul chose to face in that physical experience. So when the body is being formed, shall we say, when it's being patterned, when it is about to be born physically, the vibrations structure the DNA to structure the body, to incorporate the belief systems within that genetic structure, to incorporate it within the personality structure, so that that body will express itself, that personality will express itself in the way that is necessary for it to face the challenges it chose to face for the soul's growth. Does that make sense?
Yes. To some degree, it makes sense. I will need to absorb it a little more, but
all right.
So all of those. So it sounds like the beliefs part of the personality structure comes before anything else.
In the forming of the personality, yes, the belief systems have to be there. Now, there is some looseness to it at the beginning, and the looseness is crystallized and solidified over a brief period of time, over a few years, when the belief system is also willing to absorb belief systems from its surroundings, from its parents, its schooling, its society, so on and so forth, to complete the picture that that personality needs in order to face the challenges in the way it needs to face those challenges, to learn, to grow, and to have the experience it chose to have. So the genetics are arranged with some structure, but also arranged to allow for some belief systems from its environment to come in to complete the structure that it will then face as a physical persona growing up.
Okay, and so that's almost set in stone after a certain age?
Yes, somewhere around 7 years of age, 9 years of age, it becomes more crystallized, and now you are on the momentum, you're on the path of experiencing the challenges you chose to experience for your soul's growth.
Okay, but we're still able to change our beliefs. We've been told that we can.
But that's part of the process of the soul growing, is to learn how to do that.
Okay.
That's what you set yourself up to do. I'm going to impose these particular belief systems that I will have the opportunity to change. It is that process of change that allows the soul to discover something new and to grow. So you set yourself up with things that ideally you will be able to change.
I see. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. The next question I have is about as above, so below.
Yes.
You say everything in physical reality has a spirit version of itself.
First, yes.
Okay.
So in a sense, it's really more like anything in spirit has potentially a physical version if relevant. There are more things in spirit than there are on earth. As is in your text, there are more things in heaven than you imagine in your philosophy. So there are more things in spirit than you experience on earth, because not everything is relevant to experience in the physical way. But everything that is physical has a component in spirit first.
Okay. How would something like a disease that is in physical reality that we see the symptoms of, how would that look in spirit, for example?
As a pattern of energy that is, from your perspective, potentially discordant.
Okay, so there can be discordant things in spirit, anything.
Well, let me put it this way. It's like a blueprint. I'm going to have this experience of this disease, which is something that is representative of being out of balance with my core frequency. So as a blueprint, you may see it as something that looks like it's slightly shifted off of the center core essential frequency in a way that would cause a discordant harmonic between the two. Just to put it in energy terms.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Now I have some questions about the social experiment.
Yes.
Now for the letter we sent out, it
Yeah.
was it was signed the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment Group.
Yes.
And I'm a member of that. I've been doing the steps, but
right.
I didn't consciously write the letter. I was just wondering who actually wrote it, and how did you use our consciousnesses in writing
In
it?
exactly the same way that you are experiencing conversation with us now. We downloaded it to the channel, who then translated it into words on his computer.
Okay. So it's a reflection of our collective higher mind. The
Always.
letter. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's, I guess, how all the social experiment steps were created as well.
Yes. But it's also a reflection of something that allows us to observe the reactions of individuals who choose to participate.
Now, what will happen if people want to embellish the ID cards? Or
the degree to which that might be done, even though we are suggesting that it may not necessarily be done, will again tell us something about the way people perceive things, how they approach things, how they interact with things. And that's part of the reason for this social experiment, is not only for you to utilize these things to your own effect and your own advantage, but for us to observe what happens when you do them, when you align with it, or when you do something different than we suggested.
Okay. On that same general theme, I sent a letter out to one of my senators, and he suggested that I call someone who worked under him, who's in charge of the space aspect of his work, I guess, and to talk about this subject with him. And I felt
All right.
excited to do that, but then I thought maybe this is going out of the bounds of the social experiment since it was connected to the letter. Do you have any guidance on that?
You may have a conversation. It depends on what the subject is. But again, you can also turn them on to the idea of the origin of that letter and let them discover things for themselves. But it's all right to have a conversation about subjects that are similar to what is covered in the letter.
Okay.
All we are basically saying is you don't necessarily have to explain what the social experiment is to them, but you can certainly discuss subjects that are contained within the idea of the social experiment, like the existence of extraterrestrial beings and the desire for disclosure and things like that.
Okay. And I can refer them to bashar.org for
If they
official-
wish to understand the actual parameters involved in the social experiment, yes, that you don't have to explain. They can find that out for themselves. But you can certainly have discussions about subjects that are peripheral to what the letter is about.
Okay. What does a white flower symbolize to the collective consciousness of the Interstellar Alliance?
The opening of consciousness to higher vibrations, to higher light.
Okay. All right. Well, I thank you very much. I love you very much. And thank you so much for this interaction.
Our unconditional love to you as well. Aveo. Good day.
Ave.
Hello, Bashar and Darryl. My name is Medina. So my question is, I'm really curious what happens to children during this transformation. How are they handling this? What's happening during this shifting to this fifth dimensional Earth? Are they automatically shifting, or do they need to also work on themselves to get into higher frequency? Are they naturally in high frequency? I have two boys, 12 and 8, and I would love for us to be on the same frequency, and I always think about it. Even though I work on myself, my husband works on himself, and we try to help them as well, but they are kids. So please let me know everything is okay. Thank you.
Everything is okay. That's really all you need to focus on. Everyone has their own path. You will always all be together at some point, whether it's physically or not. You're going to a fourth density Earth. Fifth density is non-physical. You're tapping into fifth density energy to imbue it in your third density body so that you can experience a fourth density physical reality. Kids are very intuitive. They're very still connected more than a lot of adults to the idea of spirit. But of course, it's all about what path they have chosen, what themes they are exploring, and what they're picking up from the adults in their society as to how they are capable or not of dealing with what they face in life. So the more you are willing to be creative and imaginative, allowing them to discover for themselves their self-empowerment, what their passion is all about, to learn the things they need to learn to thrive in physical reality by adopting their excitement to those lessons, rather than diminishing their excitement to learn those things, then ultimately you will have to know that they will be okay. And when and where it is important and relevant for you to be together, you will be together. So we would simply suggest that you don't worry about it, because that's a negative vibration that will actually cause things to take longer for you to experience the idea of the connection between all of you and your family. But you will always be members of a soul family, no matter how or where or when you experience that. So ultimately, everything is okay. start relaxing into the flow of the way things unfold, do not worry negatively so much about where they're going to wind up. They are infinite and indestructible spirits, just like you are, even though they may present themselves as physical children right now. So you have to see them for the spirits that they are and the journeys that they chose to experience for their own soul's growth. You have to see them as strong enough to handle anything, even though it may seem from time to time that their physical personalities may be a little lost or confused or uncertain. It's okay. It's part of the process of them allowing themselves to remember who they truly are. And as long as you are lovingly reminding them of that, especially by being a living example of who you are, then they'll take their cue from you when and where it's relevant for them to do so. So again, don't worry. Everything is okay.
Hello, Bashar and Company. My question is in regards to planet that has been dubbed K2-18b. I was just wondering if you'd be able to tell us anything about this planet. It's been speculated that it's a gas planet or that it's an ocean planet. It's also apparently the James Webb Space Telescope has found evidence of carbon dioxide and methane, which is indicative of life, at least as far as we know it. So I was just wondering if you could verify any of this or what you could tell us about this planet that would be of interest to us, and including maybe whether we will be visiting it anytime in my lifetime. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
You will not visit the planet in your lifetime physically. You can certainly visit it astrally. There is life there, is an aquatic form of life. Eventually you will realize that, but not for many years.
Hello, dear Bashar.
Good day.
My question, can you hear me?
Yes.
My question today is about the Tucson, Arizona portals. Some friends took me we hiked to a portal. It was a very large saguaro cactus, and we stood under it, and it had the most incredible loving feeling that I've ever felt. My friend channeled 2 Andromedans while we were there that said that they were very happy that we were there and that they liked it when people came to see them. And I really want to go back there a lot.
Aww.
Then that same day we went on Mount Lemmon, and we went to the Hoodoos, where there was a huge, she said it's a massive portal where lots of ships, different ships and races go in and out all the time. It was very chaotic and loud and very, very noisy. So my question to you is, do you agree that those are portals? I mean, what I felt was real?
Yes. The idea is most people don't understand that from a certain point of view, your world is like Swiss cheese. There's holes everywhere. There's comings and goings everywhere. There are portals, some of them stronger, some of them weaker, but there are portals everywhere connecting you to different dimensions that are often used by higher frequency beings to travel and to connect to those different dimensions, or to pass through from one dimension to another, maybe simply using your portal as a transition point. So your world is very much like full of holes.
Oh, that's wonderful. A quick question more, and my last one is that many years ago I had a past life regression or a soul retrieval or something, I don't remember, with a lady, and deep sleep, whatever, I was in a trance or whatever. She told me that my mother, after it was over, she told me that my mother was an earth angel. My mother's passed away in 2005. And that my mother preferred the life that she once had, where she was a woman called a nail. And she had long, dark hair, which my mother did not in real life. Yeah. And she told me that she would always be with me, and that if I ever needed her, I have this blanket. She explained this blanket that I still have, and that I could just get that blanket and put it on me, and she would be there, or I didn't even need to put the blanket on. Yeah. So is my mother always going to be an earth angel like that, hovering around the earth?
Well, you understand that the term angel doesn't mean she's actually literally from the angelic realm. It just means that she is of a vibration where she is willing to be of assistance, to be a guide, to assist and help wherever she is needed, and that she prefers that state of being. She prefers that representation because that to her feels more like her true self. It feels more like home. So yes, of course. Now, beings on the other side have their own lives. They're not just hanging around waiting for you, but they will be there when you need them because time for them is not what it is for you. And as soon as you truly need them, they can be there instantaneously. And they're always willing to do so because they are full of unconditional love for you.
Will she always be that kind of person on the other side, or will she eventually move on to do something else?
Everyone moves on, but that doesn't mean you still can't access that part of her because that always exists as a part of her greater being. It just depends on what her focus is on her journey for herself, but that doesn't mean that those parts within them are not always available to those that need them, because that's what it means to be a greater being, is you are many things to many people, and each individual can call upon the aspect of the greater being that they are familiar with, that they may need assistance from.
Okay, thank you so much. I love you so much, and thank you for this interaction today.
You are welcome. Our unconditional love to you as well. Good day.
Good day. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hi, Bashar. This is a question to a dream I had the other day. I was in this room I often go to, and together was my brother. And in the room there was these white tulips that I was being told that if I wanted to have a higher and deeper connection to you, I could eat one of them or more. I ate 3 or 4 and thinking these white tulips are a little bit too unreal to be real. And I remember the taste of them and eating them. You were very present in the room the whole time. There was also a woman there observing the action of my brother and me, and she asked me why we did so. And I asked and explained to her. And then she said, if you really want to have this connection, I have the real one. And she gave me one flower. And I observed it. And the flower head of the white tulips, I could see all the pattern, like if I saw it under a microscope, holding it in my hands. Those white fluorescent colors going through the pattern of the flower. I ate it. It was very different taste. And I want to ask you, do you have any connection to the white tulips? And what would this dream mean to you? Thank you.
This is, in some sense, what we just talked about in terms of the symbol of a white flower, meaning that it is a permission slip symbolically presented in the form of a flower, energetically speaking, that allows you to open up to higher frequencies of consciousness, to open up to the light, the higher light. So it is a kind of energetic astral tool that is presented in a way that you understand as a life form, the flower, that allows, when you absorb it, things to open up within your consciousness as a flower opens to the light, but the different flavors represent opening up to different things, different energies, different frequencies, different realities. So that's basically what it represents as an astral experience that you had using those symbols that are representative of different forms of life on our planet and other planets and other dimensions, such as flowers, but they have that symbolic, energetic meaning as a permission slip. And therefore, ingesting them in the way that you did as an astral being allows your energy to open up to higher light, to experience more connections to more dimensions of reality.
I just want to share where I'm at in my state of being at this time.
All right.
And some of the joy and other things I'm dealing with. So my organization, Create Now,
yes,
which helps troubled youth through the arts, is exploding in many different ways.
All right.
I'm touching people around the world. I'm getting top media exposure. I'm getting recognition and awards for my work, and I'm sharing the secret with many of the troubled kids that I'm serving.
May I ask you to stop right there for a moment?
Sure.
Listen to the tonal quality of this recitation. You can tell just by listening to the way you are inflecting each of those statements that eventually you will arrive at a but.
Yes, I understand.
In other words, each of those statements unto itself should be a definitive statement with an absolutely energetic definitive stop that has nothing to do with leading to a but.
Yes.
And that's the difference in the state of being you need as opposed to the state of being you're creating.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So it should be, I'm experiencing all of this joy and recognition, and I'm thrilled.
Yes. Are you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for reflecting that to me.
My pleasure.
The challenge I'm having is
Yes.
that
It's all right to acknowledge the challenge as long as it is definitively different than the recognition of what you are not challenged by, so that they are not interlinked and connected. You follow me?
Yes, and I'm...
So that you recognize that it's two different states of being and you can deal with it as such.
Yes.
So very good. Your challenge is?
I'm not getting the material abundance that I need to live a comfortable life.
A comfortable life.
And that,
which means what?
Well, the primary issue is I have my basic needs fed at the moment.
Basic needs, all right.
Room and shelter and food and whatever.
Maybe you should expand your definition of basic needs.
Yes, and my other basic need is I'm driving a 14-year-old car with no air conditioning.
Yes.
And it's very uncomfortable.
All right.
And I've been using The Secret for months
I see.
to
what?
feel the excitement of having
Yes.
my dream car, which would be a Prius.
Yes.
I'm feeling it. I'm visualizing it. I'm
Yes.
pretending I'm having one.
Have you gone to the car dealer?
I've sat in one. I've been hesitant because my
Yes.
credit is not there, and normally the car dealers won't let you take a ride unless they go through a credit check.
Normally.
Yes.
You see, that's where you're at.
Well,
normal.
Uh-huh.
What's normal got to do with what you prefer to be? This is where we hearken back to the example we gave before your lunch break. Can the rational mind actually imagine the possibility that something could happen out of the blue with any logical appearing connection?
Yes.
Can you imagine the car manifesting without your rational mind having to figure out how it would normally have to happen?
Yes.
Because you see, that's what you're muddying this up with, is no matter how excited you get, you still bring to bear the idea of the rational mind's need to know how the heck is this going to happen.
Right, and that's why I related so much to what you've been saying about this idea of control and letting go and letting the higher self control it.
Yes.
And I appreciate that so much.
Well, all right, then, if so, use it. And start today by allowing yourself to recognize that circumstances don't matter. So anything that you now have labeled or mentioned that is in your physical mind's estimation a circumstance connected to the manifestation of the car, let the circumstances go. The circumstances don't matter. Only the state of being does. So if you are willing to simply be the state of being of someone who has the car and absolutely forget about how that's supposed to happen, then you will allow your reality to attract that idea. But that's not what you're doing.
Well, for instance, I received a card in the mail from a credit card company through my business offering me a loan to go get a car at any car dealer.
But
that means I have to go through my board of directors and take out a loan.
You see, you have used it enough to attract an opportunity within the realm of your belief system, yet at the same time, because it's only within the realm of your physical mind's belief system, it always comes with a caveat of how.
Right.
You need to disassociate this completely. You have proven to yourself you can attract by attracting the loan. But the idea is that it only came in a form that is reflective of the fact that you still think there are strings attached.
Yes.
Well, you have to let that go. You have to completely let go of that concept entirely in order to experience the kind of manifestation that we and The Secret are talking about.
So would that mean pursuing the loan and not worrying about the strings attached?
It depends on what you think your belief system can handle. But what it actually empirically means is allowing yourself to simply let go of how you think it must happen at all, and being in a state of freedom that way, being inspired to allow your imagination to move you to do things you would otherwise not normally do. Go to a car manufacturer and say, I am doing this in the world. We would love it if you would donate a car for our use. Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
There are many, many, many things you could do that would not be, in your mind's estimation, normal. That's just one small example. But the point is you will never be creatively inspired to even think of those kinds of things if you are not actually willing to be in the state of being you want to be in and forget the circumstances. It will never come to you to think about that, to ask something that other people would think that's outrageous. Who would ever just give us a car? That'll never happen. I have to do this. I have to do that. It must come with this string. It must come that way. You have to let all of those assumptions go, because that's all they are. They are assumptions. And again, don't get caught up in it again by saying, oh, all right, I'm just going to let all that go. And now I'm just going to be in the state of being. Oh, my car didn't show up today. Something's wrong. Once again, you went right back into assumptions. Just be the state of being. Use the car as a symbol. Let it come to you how it will. Let the higher self bring it how it needs to come. And just get on with your life, staying in the state of being you prefer to be in, and acting through inspiration and imagination on the things that pop up symbolically that have to do with that when and where you can, again, without expectation, without assumption, and without needing to know how that might actually work. Just do it because you're moved to do it. So if you happen to be in that state of being, and you happen to be walking down the sidewalk, and you happen to be walking past a car dealership, and walking past the dealership reminds you of the joy of being in that car. Present tense, not future, present tense. The joy of having that car, then that joy could inspire you to suddenly turn on your heel, run up the driveway, walk into the showroom and say, give me a car. I deserve it, and this is why. And just see what happens. And even if it doesn't happen the way you think, starting to behave that way will get you into the habit of being in the proper state where anything can happen. You need to loosen up the structure that you have imposed upon how you think you need to go about doing this, so that you look a little bit crazy. It's all right. Be a little bit crazy. It's all right to be just a little bit crazy. Because you see, if you're just a little bit crazy in just the right way, people just say, she's creative. Being creative is being a little bit crazy in just the right vibration. With that in mind, you should understand God's completely insane. Who else but an insane being would think up your planet? Oh! But who else but an insane being would believe that unconditional love and unending ecstasy and joy are also normal? But that's the reality. All that is. Does this make some sense?
It does, and it relates to the second part of this, which is all coming into place for me, which is that the other passion that I have are my screenplays and the book I'm working on, and the fear that sometimes creeps into my thoughts that how can I do both when I have so much to juggle now?
But you already do understand, as we have said many times, that your passion and your joy and the thing that excites you the most is not only the driving engine, but also the organizing principle, which will allow everything to mesh in perfect harmony and synchronicity if it is truly representative of the state of being of your true self. So there is, again, no need to worry What's the word? How is all that going to fit? It just will.
Thank you so much for reflecting that to me.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bashar. You're awesome.
I know. We know that when we say it just will, that there are still portions of your physical mind going, I can't accept that, it's too vague. In this case, vagueness is your friend. Relax your hold, the stranglehold that many of you have on how things need to happen, and allow your higher self to do its job. The phrase, it just will, is the physical mind's translation of the higher self's message, I've got it, relax. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. You were talking about permission slips and methodologies.
I was.
Yes. A long time ago, I heard a Ramtha tape saying that pyramids were an amplifier. They enhanced one's ability to manifest. And I was wondering if it's just a permission slip.
Everything is just a permission slip. That doesn't mean that that's not what those things do, because you have created them to do so as a reflection to you that allows you to be who you are. It's, remember, not this or that, it's this and that. Spiritual growth is the product of including all the definitions and recognizing that all the definitions are true and not excluding anything. And just getting that to work for you. So yes, pyramids are like amplifiers. They're like focusing lenses for electromagnetic energy. Yes, they do that. But they are only an idea in your consciousness. So who's actually doing it? You are. Because there is no physical reality. When you say the pyramids, you're talking about something as if it actually existed outside your consciousness. Just because it's made of stone and has been around for thousands of years doesn't mean it's outside your consciousness. Does that make sense?
Perfectly, thank you.
Thank you.
Good day.
And to you, good day.
I would love to own my own home.
Oh, you go right ahead then.
Now, in the secret,
yes,
it would seem, to my understanding,
yes,
that what one should do is focus on the exact perfect home for me.
Yes.
Now,
this functions as a template. Because you see, again, it's a permission slip. The home may or may not look exactly like you imagine it. But whatever in your mind, whatever in your visualization is the ideal representation, the ideal permission slip, will resonate with your preferred vibration. And then the higher self will bring you the idea that actually is representative of your true high frequency, even if it's a little bit different than what your physical mind was capable of imagining. But it still functions as a template to get you on the right resonant frequency. That's what it's for. So if you use it, imagine it in all the details you can, perfectly as you can, it will get you more excited because it's more representative of what you believe you want. And by getting more excited, you will then attract exactly what will really serve you. Make sense?
It does.
So it's the idea of focusing on a specific, but allowing the general to manifest in a specific way that is actually more representative than anything your physical mind could actually have imagined. Because you see, when people insist that it must look exactly this way, exactly that way, sometimes they may be right on in alignment. And they may get exactly that reflection. But the point is that if you don't insist that it must look exactly that way, and if you're open to the possibility that it could be something grander, your higher self will always bring you something better. So if you insist it must be this way, you're actually insisting that it shouldn't be even better than you can imagine. Does that make sense?
Well, what I was wondering is if,
Yes.
if it's possible, my way seems to be to walk down the street and
Yes.
I'd imagine living in that house, in that house, in
Yes.
that house. What would
Yes.
it be like to live in a tree? I
All
wonder what
right.
it'd be like to live in a bus station. Now, could
All
I
right.
dilute
All right, but
my
that's perhaps
focus?
simply the process you enjoy to give yourself the understanding that you can imagine anything and any one of those things could come to pass. And it gives you the opportunity to understand that all of those choices are equally valid.
But is it a roundabout way? Do I have to live in all these places before I get
No.
the right one?
No, you don't have to. You may only be proving to yourself that all the choices are equal, which means that no one has to stand out, which means being equal, you can choose the one you prefer. But that may just be your way of allowing all the choices to seem equal.
A level playing ground.
Exactly. Because only when all choices are valid and all choices are allowed to be equal and no choices are judged as being less than another choice or better than another choice, do you actually give yourself the ability to actually choose what you prefer. Because when you invalidate something, all your energy goes towards suppressing its validity. And that's what manifests. Make sense?
Thank you, yes.
Does that help?
It does.
Then happy walking.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you for teaching us.
Thank you for teaching us.
My question is with regard to having multiple highest joys at different times. And
Yes. Multiple expressions of one highest joy. Anytime you appear to have different things that have equal amounts of excitement and joy, they might simply be different expressions of one overriding highest joy that you haven't yet actually labeled or identified.
I see.
For example, someone may bounce all around between the idea of painting, singing, writing, and they say, oh, well, I have all these highest joys. No, they have one highest joy of expressing communication creatively. And painting, singing, and writing are simply different expressions of that one highest joy. Knowing it that way can help remove the confusion about which way to go. Because if you understand that all of these things may be simply different expressions of one highest joy, then it doesn't matter which one you do at any given moment.
I see.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Bashar. My other question
Yes.
is with regard to helping to better incorporate your teachings, and the mantra that you provided just now
Yes.
will be of great help. And,
all right. Use it if you wish.
And all the tools and just reviewing your material will be of great help. I was also wondering if there will be any opportunities to be among your people as a kind of study abroad type situation.
Eventually.
In order to learn by example and better internalize.
Eventually.
Okay.
Somewhere before your year of 2033.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.